There you go.
Woo! So glad that my faith in Andrew's manhood is restored because I went a whole week with 0.
Yeah, I can't defend myself. The entry clap last week was tough, and we even tried out some of the second phase guys. They've been trying to clap our class in and they've actually done a decent job. And I thought about having one of them come just clap the episode in so I didn't have to suffer that embarrassment again. But. So
for a second phaser to come do that at 10:30 this morning would have meant that he would have had to skip class at 6:30 and at 7, and he would have had to skip work for half of a day and get all dressed up and smelling righteous just so he could come clap us in.
That's correct.
That's what would have happened.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Worth it?
Yeah,
Maybe.
Whereas us, we just show up.
Yeah.
But for that second phaser, especially a lot of them I'm thinking of.
I'm always very intentional about how I dress for this show. I think I'm currently wearing 2 different shades of navy, which I'm told is good, with a black hat and a black watch.
Yeah.
Gray shoes, though. Gray shoes. I think that may save the outfit.
You're doing wonderful.
I don't know. I've got a theory on the whole color matching thing that, it's unpopular, but I believe it's correct. But nobody ever wants to hear it, And so.
Yeah, I don't believe in matching at all, even though my shoes actually match my top.
Do they
today.
actually? So I can't tell.
Yeah.
And so.
So I only wear these green Nike shoes when I wear a green top.
I didn't know that was green.
Yep.
So there's that.
There it is.
We're learning all kinds of cool things so far.
Get to know you segment questions.
Yeah.
One of us is colorblind.
Yeah. The whole matching thing has been something I've had to fight my whole life for that reason. And then, people just say things like those colors clash. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, how could they clash? How 2 colors clash? Like, I get if you don't like them, but like, they don't clash. They're not at war with each other. And it got me thinking.
They kind of are.
It got me thinking, like, what if this was all about some ancient wizards that were represented by different colored wardrobes, and that there was just really an ancient vendetta going on against certain wizard sects.
I think you put too much thought into it. I think when they say your colors clash, I think what they're saying is I'm having a hard time looking at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
that's great.
I understand.
Great. Look at someone else. Don't worry about what I'm doing.
I think that's what they really mean.
I'd be fine with it. I'm okay with it. Yeah, I'm okay with it. It's not like I'm insecure or anything. Yeah.
It's not like you're going to complain about a picture on Facebook or something like that.
Yeah, I've heard weirder things, man.
You never know.
I've heard weirder things.
Yeah.
Get to know you segment question of the day. This is a real layup. Normally we walk in with, what have you been up to lately?
Okay.
But I think we should walk straight into the get to know you segment question because they're going to tie in.
Okay.
And the get to know you segment question is, what's something new that you've been doing with your kids lately?
Oh, That's a good one. And so, first off, before we get into that, let me say this. I bought my daughters second Christmas presents. I bought them earlier Christmas presents too, but I found something last second. Of course, I saw it on Facebook ad, and it said it could be here in 2 days, and it took four weeks to get in, I think.
Classic.
And it just got in, so I was able to send that and mail that to my daughters the other day. So you said something new that you were able to do for them or do with them. I was able for them to enjoy an additional present from their dad, so they enjoyed that. Yeah, and it was really good, and they're excited about that. No, what new that I've done with my kids lately? When I was on a plane back from vacation the other day, it occurred to me that Cooper, in my mind, Cooper was man enough now to teach him how to play racquetball.
There you go.
And this is something that I really enjoy doing. I enjoyed it in college. Really enjoyed it in my adult life and haven't done it in a long time. And just because it's kind of hard to set a schedule with somebody else. My schedule and somebody else's schedule corresponded. But right now, It was the perfect storm. Cooper just finished with football. He doesn't, for 4.5 years, he's had that every afternoon. Now he doesn't have that in the afternoons. And so in the time period that I would like to go play, around 3, 4, 5 o'clock, he's able to go play.
Yep.
And he's mature enough now to where he should be able to swing a racket and compete on some level with his old man. So I thought it would be the perfect timing. So, and he agreed. And, right now he's got that free time to be able to do it. So last Thursday we went. We spent a lot of time just instructing and just hitting the ball and stuff, and then we played some games. If you know anything about racquetball, after instruction we played 8 games, so that tells you our games wasn't very good at all. If you can play 8 games of racquetball, then they're usually bad games because you don't have a lot of volleying going on there.
Sure.
But then we went back on Saturday. He actually got up early on Saturday, set his alarm just so we could go play. And he played a lot better, and not that he played bad Thursday, but he just improved a lot on Saturday. And then at the end of it, I worked with him on his serve, and he got even better. And then in the last game, he scored more points than he did in all the other games combined.
Yeah.
So very happy about that.
Yeah, man, Coop's a tactician. It's not going to take him long to figure out that game. Now, obviously, there's still some skill and some athleticism involved, and he's an athletic kid, so he'll manage. But being a tactician in any sport is a huge leg up.
I think he was amazed when we worked on the serve, because at first we didn't work on serve. We worked on this is how you have to serve, but not the dynamics of what makes a good serve, And so for Thursday and Saturday, we're just working on you hit the ball from here, it has to hit here, then it has to land in here. And so that's what we worked on. But then at the end of Saturday, now that he's good enough to do that then consistently, then I was able to show him, hey, put your left foot out this much and see where the ball goes. Now put your left foot back and see where the ball goes. Now put your left foot out and turn it just a little bit and see where the ball goes. And he was able to see those huge differences in where the ball goes just based off of where he had his left foot. And it seemed like it amazed him, for him, because it's one thing to tell somebody, do this. I mean, I've had people try to instruct me at golf, and it's difficult because even if I do what they say in golf, I don't always get the results because there's a lot of other mechanical issues involved.
Sure.
But when you're talking about serving a racquetball, serving a ball, playing racquetball, once he got to where he could hit the ball there, I could change whether it was in the right-hand corner, which is difficult, or whether it was in the backhand corner over here, just based off of a few inches in his left foot. And for him to see that, I think kind of amazed him because, like you said, he is a tactician, and, in the sense that, if he can do something deliberately and get the result that he's looking for, he likes that.
Yeah.
And so I think that that right there really made a big point with him.
Yeah, and racquetball is a really fun game. It's, I've played a little bit of tennis. I've played a little bit of pickleball, and I enjoy those just fine. But they don't have as many variables as racquetball has,
Right.
and that's what makes a game fun to me is the amount of variables you have to consider. And there's just so many ways to play every shot. You can hit off any wall you want to. And so it makes a lot of fun. I myself, as Clay knows, but we haven't talked about it in a while, but I am a racquetball champion. When I was in college, I had never played racquetball before in my life, and there was an intramural racquetball tournament, a doubles intramural racquetball tournament, and I'm like, I can hit a ball off the wall. This seems easy enough. I'll just go win this racquetball tournament. Turns out racquetball is very difficult, but I stumbled across it because I went to a doubles racquetball tournament without a partner.
Yeah.
I'm just going to figure it out. And the guy said, hey, man, are you looking for a partner in this racquetball tournament? And I was like, I am, as a matter of fact. And he goes, you any good? I said, I don't know the rules, but if you'll tell me the rules, I reckon I'll be okay. And he just smiled. And he was probably 5-6 years older than me, something like that. And we get in there. Turns out this guy is a phenomenal racquetball player. I'm not certain I touched a ball more than twice in the tournament. He was incredible. And so we won the racquetball tournament. No thanks to me. I was just in the room. And then, we laughed because it was just so obvious. I helped 0. And if anything, I was in the way. I may have cost us a few points. But afterwards, I said, dude, that was impressive. I said, is this like your thing? He goes, no, tennis is my thing. And I said, I'd love to see you play, man. I bet you're awesome. He goes, the intramural doubles tennis tournament's coming up. You want to play?
That's funny.
I was like, I'd love to. So I have also won a
Oh, my goodness.
I've also won a tennis tournament.
Oh, my goodness. That's funny.
Oh, man. I'm so bad at tennis, and I'm not very good at racquetball, but I do really enjoy playing them. You're actually the only person who's ever taken me to play racquetball before outside of that tournament experience that I had, and, man, I just had a blast. It's a lot of fun. It's been a lot of years.
It has been a long time.
That was when I first came. That was the first time you and I ever really hung out outside of, like, work and church.
And I haven't played a lot since then.
Yeah.
I used to play with Joe and Brandon and Calvin and then, you a little bit. And I don't know the last person I played with. It might have been Brandon Casey. I feel like me and Brandon probably got some unfinished business that we may hit up pretty soon.
I like to hear that.
But I'm excited about getting to play. I think Cooper and I are going to go play tomorrow and see if anybody else wants to go with us. But racquetball has got a lot of variables, but it also doesn't have a lot of limitations. Whereas, pickleball and tennis and stuff, I've never played pickleball ever, never had a paddle in my hand. And then Cadence Rainwater put on a tournament, and Cooper refused to play with anybody besides me. And I'd already paid the entry fee. And so we played on our way to Baton Rouge. And we had pink paddles because Elena had bought some paddles one day. And we showed up with 2 pink, printed paddles. And I literally did not know the rules. I was busy that morning and wasn't able to look it up. I had to run to Sam's before I could go do it. I was crunched for time. And we lost our first set. Imagine that. But we won our second one against the competition. And then we were in a playoff in the third one. And that group ended up making the finals.
Oh, nice.
So we played well. For not knowing anything, Cooper had only played pickleball a couple of times at camp or something. But I'd never even held a racket before. But where I fell is the same place I fell at in tennis. And that is hitting the ball too hard and not being smooth with it. With racquetball, that's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. And so what holds me back in tennis and pickleball is that I haven't played enough to be finesse enough. You don't have to be finesse in racquetball. You can be, but you don't have to be.
That's right.
You can bulldog your way through that thing.
That's true.
So anyhow, good times. Well, what about you? What have you been doing fun with your kids?
So lately, the thing has been because the last year of my life, we've talked about it a few times. Last year of my life looks astronomically different than any year of my life before. Just wildly different. My schedule is wildly different. In some ways, I'm busier. In some ways, I'm a lot more free. And so my wife and I have been talking because we have 4 children. And we do a lot with our kids. We spend a lot of time with our kids. But where we have been coming up short is spending time with our kids one-on-one. And that's been something that we both want to do. But the reality of it has been about impossible because we can't just there's nobody you can just dump 4 kids off on. It's like as much as Courtney's mom loves to watch kids, 4 kids is a lot to watch. Especially, you got life going on, and so if you're going to watch 4 kids, everything else is shut down. It just is.
And she's not that young anymore either. You
can't go anywhere. Like, it is what it is.
I'm trying to get you to agree with me and get in trouble.
Nice try. No, I'm good. And,
trying to get you in trouble, Ms. Dodd.
And so,
that was his opinion.
So anyways, we, because of the schedule changes, some things we did different, we were talking the other week, and we said, hey, because the kids always ask for that. They ask specifically. It's like, hey, can we have a dad day, or can we have a mom day? And they just want it to be just one of them and one of us. And I think that's awesome. That's a wonderful thing for a kid to want. And we've just not really been in a position to accomplish it. Well, now moving some things around. It takes some planning. It takes a week or two ahead of time to plan it, really. But now we can pull it off. And so we've been intentional. We started last week. Last week was the very first. It was we took Arlen. I took Arlen, my 6-year-old, out on the first in a while, just Dad and Arlen day. And we went she wanted to go golf. We went out to Black Bear. We bought a bunch of snacks, and man, we had a great time. And tomorrow, Arlen is going with Courtney.
Okay.
And so that's just the way we decided to do it right now, just for ease of organizational purposes. Is we're going to use the same kid, and they're going to get 2 weeks in a row, one with each of us, and then we're going to go to the next kid and cycle our way around there. And after 8 weeks, when we've done that, we'll look at it and reevaluate, because we always want to be better. We're always going to adjust knobs. And so, but that's what we're looking at, man. It was a lot of fun. I asked Arlen afterwards. I said, "Hey, what was your favorite thing about today?" Because it just was lit up. She was having so much fun. She said, "I really like the snacks." Here's the thing: we didn't eat the snacks.
Right.
We had the snacks. We didn't eat the snacks. And I said, "Baby, we haven't even had the snacks." She goes, "Yeah, but we're about to." It's like, okay, well, great.
She's happy.
I said, "Well, anything else?" She goes, "I really like when we found all those stranger balls," which is what she calls golf balls that other people hit into the woods and all around. Like when we would see one driving down the cart, she's like, "There's a stranger ball." And so we would stop.
So when y'all would steal
collected
other people's balls
Correct.
that they were coming back to get.
Yeah, I'm sure they were. So we collected
Not anymore.
those. She had a lot of fun, and I'm just rolling now. It's like her favorite things that she did was the snacks we didn't eat and
stealing.
and the theft. And then I said, "Well, anything golf related at all?" And she goes, "I really like putting the tee in the ground."
There you go.
I like that. And so when she drives, she gets to put her tee in the ground. She really liked that. And look, she played. I thought we'd be leaving after 9. I figured, we'd probably near 6. We'd probably start to. Nope. We played 18 holes, and she was attentive and had a good time. She hit every shot, and there were several times I was like, "Hey, babe, you want me to go hit this? We just kind of move on." Nope, I'm coming. She went out and grabbed her club. She went out there and hit it, and she had a great time.
Amen.
And so it was super fun. We're super excited about it, and the kids. Everybody except Maddox, because Maddox is just too young to understand what's happening. But the other 3, it's all they're talking about. Yeah. It's like what we're gonna do on their day, and they got plans, man, and that's awesome. And so I'm looking forward to this season. Hopefully we can keep it going, but you never really know. And,
you just got to start something and see how it goes, make some adjustments, look at it, and see how it works. And it may be for a season, it may be for a long season. So.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what today's episode is about. So on this show with the Jesus Cartel, really since we started, a lot of what we've been addressing is how to deal with some difficult things, sometimes negative things. We don't talk a whole lot, haven't had a lot of opportunity to talk about. What do we do when everything's going right? Yeah. What does life look like when everything's falling in your favor? I know that's not an experience we all get all the time. But I can tell you that's exactly where I'm at right now. Everything that we're doing in life is coming up well. It's like, if you're playing Uno and I just keep drawing wild cards, like I praise God, I don't even know what to do. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that today. I thought that it would be a little different of an episode. What do you do in a season of surplus?
Yeah. So, everybody knows that, everybody, if you watch Jesus Cartel, we live great lives. Regardless of circumstances and stuff like that, we live great lives. So much so that's probably the biggest criticism against us is that we live too good of lives. Well, maybe
that's been voiced.
Been voiced several times. A lot of times it'll be said either they're just way better than I am or they're lying. And they don't want to face the facts on the other. So it is what it is. We live great lives. And it's not necessary that bad things don't happen. It's that we choose to not let those things control us. And so a lot of things that we talk about, is how we deal with adversity, how we deal with those things, how we see things as a positive that could be a negative and stuff. But in this topic, I'm glad Andrew brought it up about, living in a surplus, living when things are going right, because I went and, Drive Church is going great. We're going to be building a building one day. I went and talked to a few different church leaders about looking at their building, and one of them was a bishop in Monroe, and I was talking to him, and just through the course of conversation, looking at the building, I was telling him how great things were going, and he made this statement to me. He says, "You need to seize the opportunity." He said, every time that things start going real well and momentum is happening, he said, you capitalize on it as much as possible.
Yep.
And he said, he was saying some variations of that, because I was telling him how great things were going, and how we just decided to have a church one Sunday and 39 people showed up and we didn't even know, didn't even tell nobody, and then 70 the next week, and just telling him about Mother's Day and telling him how we're in this little building that, holds 80 and we got 200 in there, and he just, the more we kind of talked and looked and, over this hour looking at his building, at the end, he took me to the side and he said, "Clay, I really need you to understand something." And I said, "Okay." And I said, "I'm listening." And he said, "I need you to hear me." I said, "Okay." He says, every time things are going well and you're building momentum, you need to capitalize on those things. And he made he had been telling me that for an hour, but he made a big point to let me know, to make sure that it sunk in. And what he's saying, is several fold. There's several layers to that. But what he's saying is that it isn't always going to be this way.
Yeah.
It isn't always as much as when you're in that moment of surplus, you think that it's always going to be that way. I finally got it figured out. I got the magic sauce, right? I got the secret ingredient. I got it, and while it's true that there are lots of things you can do to get it or have it or whatever it is, but while that's true, there is going to be times where things just don't go the way you think that they're supposed to go.
That's right.
And they might not even go the way God wants them to go. But look, some of y'all are going to throw stones, but God's will isn't always done. We can look at the world and see that that's not hard. And so when it is, we got to capitalize on it. Yep. Now, when I hear the word surplus, and I feel like you used that word on purpose, the main thing that comes to my mind when I hear surplus is we need to do something with the amount that's above and beyond, right? So things are going great, and they're going as good as they need to go. Hey, we got that. But now they're going so good, there's a surplus. Well, in my mind, what hits my mind is we got to do something with that extra.
Yeah.
Right? Not to, save for a rainy day, but to capitalize on this time that we're in right now.
Yeah.
So if we have some extra time at home, what are we going to do with that time? We're not just going to spend that extra time at home. No, we're going to see what could really benefit my kids the most with this extra time at home.
Right.
And we're hearing from them, and they're saying they want some individual time with Daddy. Well, Daddy doesn't always have individual time for them, but right now Daddy does. So let's use that surplus time that we have. Let's capitalize on this moment, and let's do what would benefit the kids the most during this time, because the next season may not be like that. We don't know how this season's going to even last. We don't know. We're kind of committed to 2 weeks per kid. That's 8 weeks total. But other than that, we don't know.
Yep.
So in this time of surplus, hey, let's maximize it as much as possible. Let's help as much as possible. Now, what I want to make sure we don't do is try to store up as much as possible. We don't want to take all the extra and go store it for a rainy day, because to me that's just being defeated. I mean, people would say, well, that's being smart. Well, to some degree, I'm not saying it's not smart. I'm not saying you shouldn't have a rainy day fund financially. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do things ahead of time because of what might happen tomorrow. That's not what I'm saying. All those things are good. But I'm saying it's more about maximizing our surplus that we have right now to help today and to help in the future. And so with the kids, I think that's a great idea y'all are doing. Annalise has a little text thread with me and her and her mom that's called the OGs, right? You know, the original group or whatever. Well, she was only born for 5 months before Elena started being formed.
Yeah.
Right, you know, so she's 14.
Very short-lived.
Yeah, she's 14 months, and she has no recollection of this time.
Yeah.
But in her mind, that was the good old days.
Yeah.
You know, the good old days was before Elena.
Remember when we had a great family?
That's right. Yeah. And she says it all the time, you know, when she could get all the attention.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, she has no recollection of this time, but she knows that she got all the attention during that time because she was the only one.
Yeah.
You know, and so kids enjoy that. And so I commend y'all on doing that. You know, you have some surplus time right now, and you're taking that surplus time and you're being intentional about doing something with the kids. It's the same way. If you have a surplus of finances and things are going your way and you have a surplus of finances right now, let's see where we can make the most effort, you know, the most impact moving forward. Let's don't just go buy something.
Yeah.
No, let's see where we can take that money and we can, maximize it for the future. If you have a surplus of preaching opportunities right now, hey, let's try to make as many of them as we can and make as much impact on them as we can, because we don't know that it's not going to turn soon to where that's not what we have. We're not saying that nobody's going to want you to preach anymore. We're saying that your season may change. You know, right now I'm having more of an opportunity to preach at the prison than I have in 20 years. I mean, 20-something years ago, I had a lot of opportunity to preach in the prison. Then it kind of went away. And now all of a sudden it's back. So I'm trying to maximize it as much as possible. I'm not trying to get somebody else to go take my spot. I'm trying to use as much of it as possible. So those are just some practical things.
No, man, I think that's awesome. You know, I think about the story of Joseph in this manner. You know, Joseph, he was in jail. First thing you got to realize is the blessing of God followed Joseph wherever he went. Regardless of what circumstance Joseph found himself in, good, bad, or ugly, the blessing of God was always with him. It wasn't always the prosperity of God, but the hand of God was always on Joseph, and that blessing followed him. And so when he interpreted Pharaoh's dream as to having 7 years of surplus and then 7 years of famine, he took a small portion during the time of surplus to put it away for the famine that was coming, but he didn't take all of it and go shove it back there. Right. And so, Egypt prospered during that surplus. He could have they could have not prospered. They could have put everything away and stored it all and just had a mundane existence in the meantime, all the way through famine and all. That's not what happened. It was very prosperous for them. And so, we want to prosper in this time of surplus. And, the prosperity gospel has really been etched into the church, and it's just not correct. God doesn't owe you anything. Amen. He doesn't owe you anything. He loves you, and he gives good gifts to his children, but he doesn't owe you anything. And there's a lot of people who are get deceived and get pulled into all sorts of weird things because people are promising them things that are not promised in the Word. Mm-hmm. If it's a promise in the Word, you can bank on it. But people will take things out of their context, twist them a little bit, and tell you that God's promising you, great wealth. And it's like, dude, God don't care about this life. Amen. God is not concerned with your building of your own kingdom here on earth. He's concerned about the building of the kingdom of God here on earth. And so he will give you unbelievable surplus as it pertains to building the kingdom. And if money happens to be what you end up needing to do that, he'll make sure you got it, and you'll have it in groves. But that might not be what he's calling you to. With the ministry that I have, freeing slaves, I need money to do that, and he has provided well above what I hoped or expected. But for however many years, 15 years before that, I didn't have an excess of money coming in, but I didn't need it. Right. There was no need for it for the things that I was doing for the kingdom. And so God has always been good to us, and the circumstances have not always been. Even in this particular moment, our family is going through a circumstance that's less than ideal, but we're in the middle of surplus. And so, we also, and this is what you have to remember, is that you get to decide how your day's going.
Yes.
At the end of the day. And life for me has always been good. It's just, it is uncharacteristically good at the moment. That's the thing that's unusual. It's just I'm not really running into the opposition I'm used to. And oddly enough, the golf is the best game as it pertains to life. It is the best game. 2 rounds ago, I went and played, and I got to tell you, it might be the best I've ever hit. I was just absolutely launching balls straight and far. I just about couldn't miss. And then I went again after that, and I couldn't hardly hit a ball straight.
I remember you telling me after that round a couple of weeks ago, I think I got it figured out.
Yeah. And that's everybody who plays golf knows, like, that's death. Like, you can't go there. And man, I felt really good about it. And then went and played the next round, and it was just not that way. Now we ended up by the end of the round getting back there.
Yeah.
But it didn't start that way. We started everywhere, just scattershot, And I don't know when circumstances will turn. I don't. Right. But I can't live in fear of them either. And that's when you're in a season of surplus, you can't live in a state of fear about when it might end. You can't be worried about when the other shoe's going to drop. We see a lot of people do that in relationships. It's very self-sabotage related. Like, you'll be in a good relationship finally. Like, you lived your whole life as a hellion, and you don't really deserve to be in a good relationship, but by George, you ended up in one. And you're so worried about losing the relationship that you can't enjoy the relationship, and you end up sabotaging the relationship with your paranoia and distrust for the relationship. And it's like, brother, what are you doing? Yeah. And so we can't live in fear of when it might end, because at the end of the day, just like in Philippians 4:13, I've had a lot, I've had nothing, and I find myself content in both places because I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. So I'm strengthened to survive the difficult, and I'm strengthened to survive the surplus. Yeah. I'm great in both spots, and so whatever it ends up being, I'm thankful for it, and I'm enjoying this time. I've never really experienced a time like I'm experiencing right now, and I don't know how long it'll last, but I'm not worried about it. Thankful for it, and we're very much enjoying it, and we praise God that He's given us this time, however long or short it might be. And every moment has been a blessing and will continue to be a blessing. And you got to have that mindset. Yeah. If you don't have that mindset, you might find yourself more stressed in your surplus than you were in your want. Yeah. And you ever seen anything like that?
Oh man, all the time. Like, I used to get frustrated with Becky's daddy because very rarely would they come see us. They wanted us to come see them. Mm-hmm. And then we didn't come see them as often as what they wanted, and he let us know that. So when we're there, most of the time that we're there, he's talking about the times that we weren't there, mm-hmm. and the lack of time that we were there, And so it's causing you not to want to be there, mm-hmm. Because all he's talking about is you not being there.
Yeah.
But I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm present. I'm present right now. And so now that my daughters have moved off and stuff, I had to be real careful that I don't fall into that same rut.
Yeah.
Because I want them to know that I want to see them as much as possible. That I've been really good about letting them go. I've been really good about, them living in Dallas and that kind of stuff. But it doesn't hide the fact that I wish that I could see them all the time.
Yeah.
Right? But I have to show a balance because I want to encourage them to live their hopes and dreams, but I also want them to know that their daddy loves them and cares about them.
Yeah.
And would rather them be at home instead of away. Yeah. And so I have to watch that I maximize our time together and not focus on the time that we're not going to have in the future, but be able to maximize the time that we do have in the moment. Mm-hmm. And so I think that that's something that, we all have to think about, there's, some parables in the Bible and stuff about, they took the surplus and they ended up hiding everything so that way nobody would steal it or whatever. Well, you didn't do anything with the good. We want to maximize the good and then take some and store it, to get better, for the future. But I think there's definitely a balance there. But I just want to say this also. we're also living in a time of surplus right now, financially, spiritually, mentally, physically. I always say that I want to surround myself with people that are knocking it out of the park. And I don't know that I've ever had a time in my life where I've been surrounded by more people that are knocking it out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right now, and that's one of my main focuses. It's not that I don't want to help other people that are struggling and stuff. I do, but the goal isn't to help them struggling. The goal is to help them, disciple them in a way where they can knock it out of the park. That's the goal. And so we constantly want to be helping other people that are in difficult situations, but not so that they can stay in those, but so they can make. And so right now, I'm at a huge surplus in my life of hanging out with people that are knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
In fact, everywhere I turn, from some clients at Fresh Start to leaders in our church,
yeah,
I'm around people that are knocking it out of the park.
That's awesome.
In a surplus, and that is so cool.
Yeah,
that is so cool, especially for somebody like me that's kind of my life,
100%. Yeah. I think I may have a solution to your kid's situation.
Yeah.
Here's what you're going to want to do.
I'm trying to get Elena fired from her job right now so that it will look like she had to come back.
Okay.
So I'm creating some obstacles there without her knowing it.
All you had to do was tell me.
So that's kind of the approach I'm taking right now. That way it'll be the man's idea.
I think I can get her out of there in 2 phone calls or less. I'm really good.
That way corporate did it.
Yeah.
The bad corporate did it.
Now there is a second solution.
Okay.
This is what I was going to suggest because, now if she gets fired, now you realize you're toast.
I don't think she listens to Jesus.
Here's what you need to do. You need to visibly rank your children. There needs to be a sign on your wall, first, second, third, with you use little pictures of them, and you need to rank them.
Yeah.
And they need to see it, and you need to send them a snapshot of it every day and just remind them where they sit in the current order of things. Now, look, this can't be rankings that sit still. You need to move these every time the needle moves.
Variables.
It needs to constantly change, and they need to be aware of what moved the needle. And I think that if you will rank them appropriately, I think that your children will respond favorably.
Well, let me just say this.
Kids love to be ranked.
Yeah, we actually did that.
Yeah?
Yeah, and then I challenged somebody else in that yesterday. So let me tell you the 2 stories.
Okay.
So we purposely bought Cooper more presents for Christmas on purpose.
It's fantastic.
So they're under the tree, and you can't really tell how many presents everybody has. But when we pass out the presents, we always make sure everybody gets a spot. We pass out the presents, and they're big stacks, right? And we pass them out. Then after we have the stacks, then we read the Christmas story, and then we pray, and then we open our presents. And so Cooper's stack was visibly higher during the Christmas story and during the prayer than the girls. And we let them know because he is the one that's at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
And so
I love this.
The only qualification for getting more was that you're at home.
Proximity.
Yes, it. And so it didn't matter all these other things. So the only way they could get it is to get fired from their job and come home. Yeah. Hey, and we're perfectly fine with that.
That's hilarious.
Now, another thing is, so yesterday...
Annalise or Elena could come work for me.
There you go.
Immediately.
You might end up getting both of them.
With no hesitation.
So we're not supposed to talk about group. So I will leave this guy's name out because we're not supposed to talk about what happened in group and it'd be an infringement. But let me just say this. So one of the guys, and we'll hold him nameless, in group yesterday, we asked him, what are you the most proud of? Name 3 things you're proud of. So we did. What's 3 things you're ashamed of, 3 things you're proud of. And when it got to the proud, I asked him, and the first thing he says, my kids. And I said, "What's one of the things?"
That was for proud?
Yeah, that's for proud, not ashamed. We actually did ashamed later, and so we did proud and then ashamed for a reason. It's kind of torture, but anyhow, I said, "What are 3 things you're the most proud of?" And he said, my kids. I said, which one? Just like that. And do you know that he immediately told me which one? Yeah. Now, I think he regretted it later on. And he probably wouldn't want anybody to know.
Yeah.
So that's why we're not going to say his name. We're just going to say that he's a first phaser that has 10 kids.
Yeah.
And I'm sure several of them have 10 kids, but it's the one that has 10 kids.
Yeah.
And but he did. He named one of the kids.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great. And so then I asked him why. So he had to tell me what made her better than everybody else. And so I think he regrets it still to this day. But anyhow, it is what it is. He manned up and did what he was supposed to do and took one for the team. So
That's right. That's hilarious also.
I was like, I feel like Andrew Skull right now. Because it's like, I'm the most proud of my kids. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Which kid?
Yeah.
And he immediately said
yeah,
it.
100%, man. Yeah, that's what I would have said. That is fantastic. I love to try to box people in. It's so much fun to watch them squirm out.
It's
if you can keep a straight face too while you're doing it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah, because in group, you don't get to decide what questions you answer.
Yeah.
Right. You have to answer them. It's a law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
And if not, we stone you.
Geneva Convention.
We stone you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Praise God. Well, hey, look, man. I think this would be a good short episode here. I feel
thought
real
we did
good
good
about it, and I don't want to beat a dead horse with it. I feel pretty good. You got anything else you want to add?
The last thing is, don't be scared of the surplus.
Yeah.
Don't think, oh man, I don't deserve this. You don't deserve anything.
That's right. That's right.
Hey, be happy with the surplus. Do something with the surplus to maximize, things for now and for later, and realize that it's a gift from God and use it. Whatever it is, whether it's time, finances, purpose, ministry, physical, whatever it is. Hey, if you're in a better mental place than you've ever been, hey, let's do something with that. Yeah. Do something good with it.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. I was done, but I want to add to that because you just brought up a really good point, is don't turn bitter when the circumstance changes.
Right.
Be appreciative of the time that you had. Mm-hmm. That's the best thing you could do, is just be grateful that you had it at all, because you never deserved a second of it.
No.
The fact that you got it ever was just a blessing from God, and let's just be thankful for those.
If you can see life as seasons, then you won't ever have a problem with that. But if you can't, then you'll be mad every time your kid gets a day older. Right. You'll be mad every time something changes in the ministry. You'll be mad every other opportunities that other people get. So you just have to look at everything as a season and make the most out of it.
That's right.
Love y'all.